Hey friends, welcome back to another video. My name is Emma Lefebvre, and today we're going to be painting some abstract florals. Today is not about perfection or coming up with a masterpiece in the end. It's really more about exploration, experimenting, and just having fun with watercolor techniques. So let's jump in and get started. Hey everyone, before we jump into today's video, I just wanted to make an announcement that I am going to be teaching my second watercolor retreat with Utrecht, but this time in Spain, and it's happening at the end of this year from September 15th to the 22nd. Join me for a week-long amazing retreat as we stay at a serene 5-acre private estate surrounded by vibrant gardens and desert flora, complete with a refreshing pool and peaceful terraces for relaxation. And not to mention a week full of watercolor. This retreat is going to be geared to all skill levels, so if you're a beginner, don't worry. I'm going to be helping you with the absolute basics, but if you've been painting for a few years, we're going to be developing your style and working on those pesky struggles you might be having with watercolor. The retreat also includes amazing day trips as well as a private chef that is going to be absolutely incredible. So if you're interested, check out the link for more details, photos, and there's only 16 spots available. So if you're interested, click the link for all the details, more photos. It's going to be absolutely incredible and I hope you can join me. But for now, let's jump into our tutorial. Okay friends, so today I wanted to do an abstract floral painting. A while ago I was like on an abstract floral kick, like 4 years ago, and those videos were really well received, and I don't know why I haven't done anything like that since. So that's what I wanted to do today. I wanted to get really loose with it and creative and just try things without, focusing too much on detail and the perfect outcome. So that's what we're going to do today. For this, you're going to need your watercolor paper. I'm painting in my perfect sketchbook from Etcher. Links are in the description. And then I have my Shinhan watercolors. I have a size 12 and a size 10 round here. I don't know exactly what I'm going to use. I might also just wet up my paper with this really big Mottler brush because we're going to be doing a lot of wet on wet to get that kind of fuzzy look to our flowers and abstractness. And what I might use salt. I haven't decided exactly where I'm going with this yet, but we're going to just play and have fun today. So the first thing I want to do is wet up my background. So even though I'm doing this in my sketchbook, I taped off a border. I'm going to be using quite a lot of water. And because it's not a block and the pages are, all glued together, it's a little bit loose. So I have it taped to create a border so we're not working right to the edge. But I also have my sketchbook clipped down so it keeps it flat while I'm painting. If you're painting on a loose piece of paper, I would get some painter's tape and tape it down to your table or a board just to keep it flat because we are using so much water. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my big brush and I'm just gonna place a bunch of water in the background. And I want you to also think about what colors you want to use for this. So I obviously am going to be probably using some green for my leaves and stuff, but I want to think of a color that will stand out and be nice and bright for the flowers. I'm thinking an orangey red and maybe make the green a little bit more blue so it has that complementary color combo of blue and orange. But yeah, this is what we're going to do. We're going to just go for it. So I kind of want to just plan out where I'm going to put my flowers, but I want to do a little bit of create some blooms. So I'm just going to mark out, I'm going to grab a little bit of orange or yellow here and just mix it with my red. And I'm just going to kind of mark out where I'm going to put my flowers. Maybe they're going to be poppies. I don't know yet. I'm going to put them here, but I'm going to do some wet on wet and blooms and stuff to make them pop out later. I always like working in threes. So I'm just applying this color to the page, okay? Then I'm going to grab my greens. So I'm going to grab some olive green, but also blue. This is kind of like a phthalo blue. And I'm just going to start kind of placing it in the background around the flowers. Some are going to be a little bit more lighter. I'll add some more paint to some other sections. And I'm going to try not to go over that orangey red part because I don't want them to mix together. If you have two colors that are complementary colors or contrasting colors, as they're also known, and they mix together, they will give you a shade of brown. So just keep that in mind. Here I just added a little bit more blue. I'm going to add even more blue. Just change it up a little bit. You can add a different blue if you like. I don't know. Okay. So now I want to purposefully create some blooms where the flowers are, and blooms are like those cauliflower marks that you get when too much water is placed down and then it creates those harsh lines. So in order to get that, you kind of need your paper a little bit damp. It doesn't need to be too wet. It actually works better if it's damp or it's like almost drying. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna dry it just very slightly, or you can just wait a second. Okay, and then I'm going to grab my brush. I'm going to add some more color, some yellow, some red, and a lot of water in my brush. And I'm going to tap it in to this red area. And what I'm doing is I am using so much water that it is pushing some of that pigment away, and it's going to create these kind of like blooms purposefully. Maybe not. This one's working a little bit better. Try not to add too much color yet. We can always add more color later, but I want the edge of this to be really blooming like. I feel like maybe it needed to be a little bit more dry. See how I'm getting blooms here? That's kind of what I'm looking for. I might even just grab a little bit of extra color. I'll try and pick some of that up and just grab some color. Like there's like little buds or something. Okay, I think these needed to dry a little bit more. I'm going to take just some clean water, and while the background's wet, I'm just going to tap some clean water on the background to get a little bit of like a sparkle from clean water. So when you add clean water to your paper, it pushes color away. I'm going to try and dry this just a little bit more because you don't want it completely dry. You just want it like damp. See, that's the bloom that I wanted. See how it's pushing that color away? And I'm trying to create petals with this bloom. Let's try here. I want this texture. And I'm just dropping in clean water. Because then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some more color. I'm going to grab a little bit of pink and mix it with my yellow. And like tap it in the center maybe. Really just playing around here. No idea what I'm doing. Maybe do some lines coming towards the center. I don't even know what flower this is going to be. It looks really cool though. Okay, I'm just doing these lines, kind of curved lines that are coming towards the center, so it looks like there's like a shadow in the center. But see these like big blooms that are happening? This is what I wanted. Now I kind of want a little bit of that for like leaves too. So I'm just going to add some darker green here. And because the background is starting to dry too, it also might push some of the color away and give us some blooms. And I'm just using some olive green. Maybe I'll just kind of mark out where I want my stems. The beauty of doing like abstract kind of florals is that you really have no idea where it's going to go and how it's going to look. You don't have much control. And I find for a lot of us, we need to kind of work on letting go of control. So this is a really great exercise to do to learn how to let go of control. Part of me wants to add a little bit of salt just for extra texture. Why not? Maybe a little bit to the background, a little bit on the petals. I don't know. I think that one's drying a little bit already too much. And I find salt works the best where there's less pigment. So if you do it in a really saturated area, so like maybe right here where there's a lot of dark green, you might not see as much of a like a pattern or texture there as you will on these petals. Okay, so let's let this completely dry and then we will see what it looks like when we get back. Okay, so quickly while it's drying, I just want to show you something. So while it's still damp, all I did was take a little bit of clean water on my brush and just kind of like drew a leaf here with the tip of my brush in clean water. And because it's damp, it's like pushing the pigment away. Maybe I'll try and do, I don't know. But that's another really cool thing that you can do while your paper is still damp. Just a little bit of water on my brush. It pushes pigment away. It's almost like magic. And I just have clean water. Like that. Again, another little fun thing to just practice. I wonder what about on the leaf, or the leaves, the petals. You can kind of draw around with clean water for your petals as well. Might work, might not work, but give it a try. So it has to be damp for this to work. Not soaking wet, but damp. And we're getting kind of an outline of those petals. I think this one is dry. Yeah, this one's dry, so it's not going to work. We can just do a darker color on that one. But yeah, while it's still damp, try and just draw an outline and some lines and see if it pushes away the pigment like that. All right, now let's wait for it to completely dry. Okay, so now that it's dry, now we can, I don't know, play around a little bit more. So I want to define these flowers a bit. I really like the way they look. I feel like the outlines of the leaves are a bit too much, but I don't know, we can go over that as well. So now I kind of, like I said, get the salt off of here. There's little bits of the salt that worked nicely. So now I just kind of want to outline some of the petals. And they're all kind of coming from the center. I'm going to do some thick lines, some thin lines. Oops, that's red. I wanted pink and yellow. Okay. So I'm using really light pressure and then I'll push down a bit, get some thicker lines. Just to make it really kind of loose and abstract looking almost. I might do a couple lines. Coming down. Always curve the lines on your petals so it flows better. You can see like the shape of the petals. If you do like stark straight defined lines, you're gonna it's gonna look very what's the word I'm looking for? Just too structured. It's not gonna look like it has a curve or a flow to it. I'm gonna darken some petals behind here maybe. Like there's some darkened petals. I don't know. Don't know if I like that, but I don't know. We're trying new things here. The whole point though is having fun and just experimenting and seeing what you like. Not everything has to come out a masterpiece. And in fact, most things should not. It's all about trial and error and seeing what you like and how watercolor reacts. And one reason why I like doing abstract kind of florals like this, where you're really just playing and experimenting, is because you don't have control and we just need to let go. And watercolor is such a great medium to learn how to let go of control. Because really, when you do stuff like this, you have very little of it. Now I got to figure out what color I want to do the centers. I want them to stand out. I don't want them to just be yellow, I don't think. I don't know. But I also don't want them to be too dark. Don't love the shape of this one, but that's okay. Maybe a little more yellow in there. I don't know, a little bit more darkness in some areas. I don't know. Okay, let's do a little bit of the greenery. So I'm going to grab my olive green. Gonna grab some blue, and I'm just gonna do the stems kind of coming down again. And then I'm just gonna kind of outline really loosely these leaves. Do thicker lines, thinner lines, make it jagged, kind of curvy. I kind of like that. Now grab a different green, darker green. Just kind of, you can do some more solid leaves and then also like the outlined. I don't know. Oh, and I also have these like two buds here that I kind of tried to do. I'm gonna grab some of that orangey red, just do a little bit of an outline, nothing too crazy. And then I gotta figure out the center. So let's make sure it's dry before I do the center. And like I said, I think I want to do like something darker. I'm gonna do some indigo because it has that blue undertone to it, which is a nice contrast for the orange. So I'm just gonna do these little dots kind of going around. And then wispy kind of lines, curving them a bit. Like this. I don't know if I love it. I don't know. But yeah, it's fun to play and experiment because every time you practice something like this and just try something, you're going to find something that you really like that worked, or you're going to learn something that didn't work. And both of those are very valuable lessons because you can take that into your next painting, your next experiment. The next time you try and paint something for someone, you know, oh, when I did this effect, it really worked and I really liked that. Or when I did this, it didn't work or it didn't look that good. Those two colors didn't look great together. The salt worked like this or it didn't. Every play session with watercolor is a chance to learn something. So you really need to take it as that instead of just creating a masterpiece all the time. But either way, it's so fun to do. So give it a go. Let me know how it goes in the comments. Let's do our satisfying tape peel. Do I absolutely love it? No, but I thought it was a lot of fun and it's very relaxing to do. And I really enjoy the color palette. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on all my other platforms for tons more content. Have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.